So I'm doing a set of headlight gears in a 99 Firehawk. This one has the grinding when you pop the headlights up and down, shut the car off, whatever. So just for giggles, with the headlight not connected, I've got the bucket there. Easiest way to do these is to open your lid. You're gonna have to do it manually, or you can do it, unplug the light. I like to do it manually just because it's less of a hassle. But the pivot screws, and then take the nut off of the arm. You're gonna have to take that off anyway to do this motor. So 3 bolts pull that whole headlight out of here. So just for giggles, with the headlight not attached, we're going to lock the car. You see how that cycled? Because this motor has no resistance against it. And what happens is when your doors close, the headlight control module, which is down there, that little dude right here, when you flash your lights or lock it and it flashes the parking lights, it powers up that headlight control module. It is supposed to sense resistance against the gear if the headlight is down. If the headlight is not down, or if it's in a up or down position, or partially up or down position, when you power that on, it is going to look for the doors to be closed, and if they're not closed, it's going to try to close them, which is why you get a cycle when you lock the car and the lights flash and the headlights try to open and close. That way they will close themselves, just in case there's been a power interruption and the lights didn't get all the way closed the last time they were on. The headlight control module will attempt to close them for you. When there's no resistance, like this one has no headlight arm even attached to it, and I lock the car, it's going to try to put that down. So that should dispel the, it's gotta be something else, it's not the motor. Yeah, I promise you, I'll get this open and I will show you a strip gear. So here we have the motor taken apart, and right there's your culprit. That is why the motor sits there and grinds. When you lock and unlock the car, the lights flash, and it is supposed to sense that there's resistance against this wheel, except the gear slips and you get no resistance, so it will try to force open and close the lights. You can rotate these 180 degrees. You're just prolonging the failure. Or you can swap to a set of brass or aluminum gears. I prefer the aluminum because they're a little bit softer than brass, so you'll get wear. If you do end up with wear, you'll end up with it on the gear instead of on the motor. Absolutely get a set with these T-brackets. Once you get everything back together, it bolts on with the cover. Otherwise, the kits will want you to glue this back together. Unfortunately, if you do it that way, that glue can fail and it will try to separate, and you're back into working on your motors. This T-brace secures that, bolts that down. It won't come apart. I did one set on one of my cars 9.5 years ago and 145,000 miles ago. So take that for what it's worth. For instance, here's this lid not all the way closed. I will lock the car and they will cycle up and then down. That one was mostly up. It didn't go up. It just went all the way down. Now I will lock and unlock the car and my headlights no longer move. I did, however, forget to install that bolt and the bolt below it, facing that direction. So my arm is hitting that bolt because I'm an idiot. So I will have to run that back up manually. We'll fix everything, put the covers back on, adjust the cover, fix a couple little things. Those are the adjusters, by the way. Don't just loosen the screws, move the cover and tighten the screws, take it off, adjust it with these, set it on there, tighten the screws. A couple of the mistakes and I have got it back together and run into an issue and figure out that, hey, I got my front 2 bolts in backwards. These have been installed the last time with the bolt and nut on this side, and they should be the head of the bolt. That way they clear this arm. So you can tell somebody's had an issue with that. A lot of tool marks in here, bending that so it clears that bolt. What really needed to be done was pull these 2 bolts, spin around backwards. The other thing that I highly recommend, 100% recommend, when you do a set of headlight gears is to get the kit that has the T bracket. And this is why. If you don't have that T bracket, the back side of your motor cover will come off. It's glued on there from the factory. Once you break that seal, the only way to get it to stay on is to re-glue it. This one was re-glued. I can see the glue here, but it is clearly missing. So I will find a replacement cover. I've got a few motors that have shit the bed, so we'll find a replacement motor or replacement cover, get this motor taken care of, get the new gear in it, and get this headlight back in order. The funny thing is, this light wasn't even the problem. That was the one grinding. This one, he said that the gears had been flipped already once. So we'll, I don't even have to pull the headlight out of there. So this one has been flipped once, he said. There's a little bit of a wear spot here where you can tell it's been slipping. Not in the middle of the gear, of course, because the gear has been trying to come out because there's not a cover on it. But, so you can see the reason that T-brace is important is it pushes down on the cap here. Fortunately, I have a motor that doesn't work off an old parts car. We'll pull this thing out of here, pop that cover off of it, and mount it back on here. Once again, these were mounted the wrong way at some point in its life. These should be facing that direction with this over here. That way that arm has room to clear those bolt heads. So we'll strip this off here. That T-brace sits on these 3 bolts over the top here and keeps pressure against that cover, keeping it closed, keeping it attached. Otherwise, it falls out at some point and this happens.